Hello to all the homemakers watching. Today, I'm going to share with you an exciting challenge I'm taking on for 2026, the No-Buy Challenge. Have you ever felt like you're spending too much on things you don't really need, only to regret it later? I've felt that way too. After reviewing my shopping habits over the past year, I realized there were so many things I didn't actually need, and they were just adding unnecessary clutter and stress to my life. So in this video, I'll be sharing the 10 things I've decided not to buy in 2026. And not only that, I'll also be sharing some super practical money-saving tips that will help you cut back on spending, reduce clutter, and live a simpler life. If you're also looking for ways to save money, reduce the clutter in your home, or just want some helpful tips on how to cut down on unnecessary purchases without giving up everything you enjoy, this video is for you. Make sure to watch until the end so you don't miss any of these tips. And feel free to share your own no-buy challenges in the comments so we can learn from each other and support one another. Now let's dive in. First, let's start with resisting the temptation to buy new hobby supplies. I'm sure many of us have been tempted to buy new supplies for our hobbies, like a new painting set, DIY craft kits, or other creative tools. But the real question is, do we actually have the time to use them all? If you're anything like me, these items often get purchased because they look interesting at the moment, but in reality, they end up just sitting in the corner unused. To solve this before buying anything new, ask yourself, do I really have the time to use this? If the answer is no, don't hesitate to delay your purchase. Instead, use what you already have from past projects, or get creative with what's left over. For example, if you want to create a new painting but still have a bunch of unused old paint, start by using up those colors before buying more. By doing this, not only will you save money, but you'll also cut down on clutter around the house. By the way, in the next video, I'll also be sharing a helpful guide on how to tidy up your space with simple strategies. Stay tuned for that. Now that we've tackled the hobby supplies challenge, let's move on to another important tip: declining trendy home decor. Next, let's talk about the temptation to buy trendy home decor. It's so easy to get caught up in the latest interior design trends, especially with all the inspiration we see on social media. One day, it's all about the minimalist look, and the next, everyone is obsessed with maximalism. We see these trendy pieces everywhere and suddenly feel the urge to buy them to stay on trend. But here's the thing, those trendy home decor items often end up looking outdated in just a season or two. The throw pillows, the rugs, or the art pieces that everyone is raving about can quickly lose their appeal. So before you jump on the latest trend, take a step back and ask yourself, is this something I truly love and want to have in my home long term, or is it just a fleeting trend? If it's a passing trend, then it's probably best to resist. Instead, focus on decorating with items that reflect your personal style, things that will remain timeless and meaningful to you. For example, if you're not sure about the latest popular color scheme or decorative style, trust your instincts and go for what feels like you rather than what's in fashion right now. By sticking to your personal style and not chasing trends, you'll not only save money, but also create a space that feels authentic and timeless. Now that we've covered the issue of trendy decor, let's move on to our next tip: resisting the urge to buy new clothes. Now let's talk about clothes and the one-in, one-out rule. We all love shopping for new clothes, but it can quickly become overwhelming when our wardrobes start to overflow. Over time, it's easy to accumulate clothes we don't wear anymore while still continuing to buy new pieces. But here's the thing, when our closets get too full, it can make getting dressed more stressful instead of enjoyable. You might find yourself standing in front of a packed closet, unable to decide what to wear, or worse, feeling like you have nothing to wear even though your closet is full. That's where the one-in, one-out rule comes in. The next time you buy a new piece of clothing, make sure to let go of something old. This simple rule helps keep your wardrobe balanced and prevents it from growing out of control. For example, if you're buying a new jacket, consider donating an old one that you don't wear anymore. Not only does this prevent your closet from getting too full, but it also helps keep your wardrobe fresh and relevant to your current style. By applying this rule, you'll find it easier to maintain a manageable wardrobe, save money, and avoid clutter. Now that we've covered how to manage your wardrobe, let's move on to another area: resisting impulse buys at the store. Next, let's address the sneaky temptation of impulse buys when we're out shopping. We've all been there. You're in the store, you have your shopping list ready, but as you walk down the aisles, you see something on sale, or something catches your eye that wasn't on your list. Before you know it, that item ends up in your cart and your total bill has gone up because of an unplanned purchase. Impulse buys are often small items like snacks, drinks, or cute little gadgets that seem harmless at the time. But over time, these little extras can add up and significantly impact your budget without you even realizing it. So how do we prevent this? The key is to go into each store with a clear plan. Make a list of what you need before you leave the house and stick to it. This simple step can help you stay focused and avoid being swayed by those tempting impulse purchases. For example, when you're at the grocery store, avoid wandering down aisles that aren't part of your shopping list, especially those with items like candy or beverages that aren't necessary. By doing this, you'll avoid adding extra costs that don't align with your needs. By staying disciplined with your shopping list, you'll be able to control your spending and avoid those unnecessary purchases that add up over time. Now that we've covered how to avoid impulse buys, let's move on to the next tip: using up what you already have before buying new candles or decor. Now let's talk about candles and seasonal decor, two things that often get over-purchased, especially when we're in the mood for a little home refresh. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of buying new candles that smell amazing or cute holiday decorations that everyone seems to be using. However, the problem arises when we end up with a collection of candles or decor that we only use once or twice a year, leaving them to gather dust for months. Instead of adding more to the collection, take a step back and focus on using up what you already have. For example, if you have a collection of seasonal candles, make a point to finish them before buying new ones. You could even set a goal to finish a certain number of candles each month, turning it into a fun challenge rather than a task. By using up your existing candles and decor, you'll not only save money, but also reduce clutter in your home. Plus, you'll appreciate the items you already own more when you finally get to use them fully. So before purchasing more candles or seasonal decor, make sure you're truly using up what you already have. This will save you money and prevent unnecessary clutter in your home. Now that we've tackled candles and decor, let's move on to our next tip: avoiding excess tea or drink purchases. Next, let's talk about the temptation to buy more tea or drinks, especially if you're like me and love trying new flavors. Over the years, I've accumulated a massive collection of teas, from herbal blends to fruity infusions, because I love trying new ones every time I go shopping. But here's the problem. Despite my love for tea, I now have an overwhelming stash of it, and I haven't even finished what I already own. The key here is to finish what you already have before purchasing more. For example, if you have 20 different kinds of tea in your pantry, make it a goal to drink through them before adding new varieties to your collection. This not only helps you save money, but it also prevents your pantry from becoming overcrowded with things you don't need. A great way to make this a little more fun is by creating a tea challenge. Each week, pick a different tea from your collection to try and enjoy it fully. This way, you're slowly but surely working your way through your stash without adding new purchases. By finishing up your tea or drink collection before buying more, you'll save money and reduce unnecessary clutter in your home. Now that we've covered tea and drinks, let's move on to another important area: being mindful of the clothes we add to our wardrobe. Now let's dive into something that many of us struggle with: buying new plants, even when we don't have the time or energy to care for them properly. It's easy to fall into the trap of buying new plants because they're beautiful, or because we think they'll make our home look fresher and more vibrant. However, here's the truth: if we don't have the time or energy to take care of them, these plants can quickly become a burden rather than a joy. I've learned this lesson the hard way. As a busy mom, I've found it increasingly difficult to keep up with watering and maintaining my plants. Some of them, like the snake plant, are doing fine, but others require more TLC than I can give right now. If you're in a similar situation, consider skipping the new plant purchases until you're sure you can properly care for them. Focus on the plants you already have and maybe even reassess whether there are any you can let go of to make room for the ones that need more attention. By being mindful of which plants you buy and focusing on those you can actually care for, you'll avoid unnecessary stress and save money in the long run. Now that we've talked about managing plants, let's move on to our next tip: avoiding impulse purchases like water bottles and mugs. Next, let's talk about something many of us are guilty of: collecting too many water bottles, mugs, and tumblers. It's easy to be tempted by the latest cute water bottles or unique mugs, especially when they're on sale or promoted as being must-haves. I've definitely been there, seeing a new trendy water bottle and thinking, that's exactly what I need, but here's the reality: I already have several perfectly functional water bottles and mugs at home. The problem is, these items tend to accumulate over time, even though we really only need one or two. Water bottles in particular seem to multiply without us realizing it. You might think you need a new one with a cute design or a new feature, but when you already have one that works just fine, the extra purchase is unnecessary. So before you buy another water bottle or tumbler, ask yourself, do I really need this, or is it just a want? If it's just something cute that'll eventually gather dust, resist the urge. Stick to the ones you already have and practice contentment with the ones you love. By focusing on using what you already own, you'll not only save money but also reduce the clutter that these items can create. Now that we've covered water bottles and mugs, let's move on to the next tip: how to manage our candle collection. Now let's talk about something that can quickly get out of hand: baby and toddler books. As parents, we want to give our children the best, and that often includes buying books. But here's the thing: babies and toddlers go through books so quickly, it's not uncommon to read the same books over and over again, which means they get worn out fast. And if you're constantly buying new books, you'll quickly find your home filled with a mountain of books that your child may not even be interested in after a few weeks. So instead of buying new books every time your little one shows interest in a new story, consider using your local library. Libraries are an excellent resource for borrowing a variety of books, allowing you to keep things fresh without cluttering up your home. You can borrow several books at once, enjoy them for a few weeks, and then return them for new ones. Not only will this save you money, but it will also give your child a broader selection of books to choose from without the guilt of buying something that might only be read a few times. And if you find a few books that your child really loves and wants to revisit, often consider buying them secondhand to keep costs down. By borrowing books and being selective about which ones you buy, you can create a more sustainable book collection without adding to the clutter. Now that we've covered baby and toddler books, let's move on to our final tip: avoiding seasonal or one-off occasion clothing. Finally, let's talk about something that many of us fall into the trap of: buying clothes for special occasions or seasonal events that we'll only wear once. Whether it's a fancy dress for a wedding, a holiday sweater, or a costume for Halloween, these are clothes that often only see the light of day once or twice a year. While they might seem like a great buy at the time, when you do the math, the cost per wear is actually pretty high. In fact, those $100 dresses or $50 holiday sweaters might only be worn once, which makes the investment feel a bit wasteful. Instead of buying clothing just for a specific occasion, consider renting outfits. Services like Rent the Runway allow you to rent beautiful dresses and suits for events without the need for long-term storage or the high cost of purchasing something you'll rarely use. You can enjoy wearing a new outfit for the event and then send it back, avoiding the clutter and expense of owning clothes you don't need to wear regularly. If renting isn't an option, try shopping secondhand for special occasion outfits. Thrift stores, consignment shops, and online marketplaces offer a great selection of gently used clothes for a fraction of the price. This way, you're still getting a new outfit without the guilt of wasting money on something you'll only wear once. By renting or buying secondhand for special occasions, you'll save money, reduce clutter in your wardrobe, and still have a fresh look for each event. And that's our final tip for today. I hope you found these tips helpful and that they inspire you to be more intentional with your purchases in the coming year. So there you have it, 10 things I won't be buying in 2026 and the practical tips I'm using to keep my spending in check while reducing clutter in my home. I hope these tips have inspired you to take a closer look at your own shopping habits and maybe even consider setting some no-buy goals for yourself. It's not about being extreme or depriving yourself, but about making intentional choices that truly reflect your values and needs. By being mindful of what we bring into our homes, we can save money, reduce unnecessary clutter, and create a more organized and peaceful space. I'd love to hear from you. Do you have any no-buy goals for 2026? Or maybe some of these tips have inspired you to make a change in your own routine. Let me know in the comments below. We can learn from each other and support one another on this journey to a simpler, more intentional life. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might benefit from these tips. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more practical ideas for living a more mindful and organized life. Oh, and in the next video, I'll also be showing you how to tidy up and organize your space easily. Make sure you don't miss it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.